I love the F-16A. This thing is probably my favorite plane in the game. Between it and the nets, they are just simply amazing little rat planes. You will generally find yourself in more down tiers in the F-16A over the nets just because it sits at 12.3 rather than 12.7. Why? Who knows? Gajan just likes to change things up once in a while, I guess. Either way, the only real difference you have between the F-16A and the nets is the nets gets Python 3s, which are 40G all-aspect missiles, just as flareable, just as fast, just as much range. But for that cost, you sit at 12.7, which just is not worth it, in my opinion. So lately, I've been playing a ton of the F-16A. AIM-9Ls are fine. You just have to be smart about the shots you take. Or use them all in one target. Foreshadowing. You'll generally find yourself running out of fuel if you run a reasonable fuel load, so I'll like to bring 2 of those underwing tanks and just drop them as soon as I get into a fight. That fuel is really just there in my head just to get me to the fight, and then I ditch them. The 9Ls are definitely good, but you just have to be careful about the shots you take. You got to make sure that you're taking shots that'll actually land. If you're not careful, you'll find yourself just being robbed. It sucks. But what doesn't suck is this canopy. So good for cinematics. I love it. Either way, I started flying towards my team just because I realized in the middle of the map I would be by myself. And now, however good a rat plane is, flying through buildings is not its strong suit. It's not September yet. F-20 flew right into my team, died for it. I hope he's happy. Back to the hangar. I hope you enjoyed your $75 purchase. This F-16 coming in is going to fire all his AIM-9s out. 1 flare and it's done. He's just going to continue on and fly over into the mountain range there. He's going to be a problem later. But this F-18 is going to come flying right at me, and I will show him my favorite part of this plane, the Vulcan. There's just something about the way the Vulcan is mounted on the F-16 that I love so much. I just find it really easy to aim. And right after having said that, I'm going to stumble across Mr. Quandale Dingle here and miss. I don't know what happened here. I should have just pulled the trigger sooner. It's my own fault. Made for a cool dogfight later, though, and this fight was pretty neat. I came in way too fast. I was kind of half expecting to get this kill. My balls were really hanging out there, and now he's tickling them, so I needed to be careful. I was not. I just continued to let him hang. You can't hit me. You can't hit me. I really just used the only advantage I had there. I had to keep pulling up, keep my speed, make sure that he was stalling out before I was, just to make that shot a little harder. Now, here he should have hit me. I don't know what was going on there. Mr. Dingle's having an interesting game. I'm sure he was not happy about how this turned out. But now that we are both turning like this, we're in a rate fight. The F-16 excels in a 2-circle fight like this, where you're fighting nose to tail, especially when you know that you have more maneuverability than your enemy, like I do in an F-16A over the ADF model. Now, he knew that too, which is why he's now running. I decided to give him an AIM-9L just for good measure, but it's going to go nowhere. 1 flare, and it is done. But he's going to continue on and run all the way back to base, probably because he's completely out of cannon ammo. He showed it all to me and put it in the air around me for good measure. This F-20 is going to be attempting a dogfight. This is a bad idea for anyone who has bought the F-20. Do not dogfight an F-16. You will lose in about 2 turns. That was turn 1. And this is turn 2. And I actually already had a shot there. I just messed it up. But in the 3rd turn, he loses the fight. I got a crit. I hit his left wing. I knew that he was not going to be flying well after this. I was already able to outturn him. But he just kind of hangs there for me. Hello, friend. Meet my 20 mil. bird. Alright. At this point, I realized I was completely alone. There's like a fear back at the airbase, but he's not going to help anything. The entire enemy team, short of one F-16 in the city itself, has returned to base. So, I have myself a 1v1 here. And I wasn't sure if he was watching me, but I was damn sure going to try and get a free kill. He's just going to keep flying forward. I think he assumed that I was just going to turn for base. I don't know why. But it turns out he does actually have a brain, and he decided to turn it on. One flare, and now we're in a dogfight. The F-16A is a really solid flight model. It's going to keep up with me in a fight. However, I came into this fight emotionally prepared. He just lost his dad in a car accident, or at least that's what his mom is telling him. So he's going to slowly lose this fight in the rate. I'm going to pull my nose around, keep trying to hold my speed. I don't want to go too slow. Around 400 kilometers an hour is about the limit of how slow I want to be. Any less speed than that, and I'm not going to be turning as hard as I can. He realized that I'm at an awesome rate speed right now, and he is in super big trouble. The radar gun sight is just enough to scare somebody. I generally don't find too much use out of it, and you're going to see how amazing I am at using it here in a second, but I know that RWR ping is annoying, so I figured it was worth something. Good shot. Good shot. Yep. Good. Nice. Yeah, good job, Zeffels. AIM-9L is all I had, so I launched it. He either didn't have countermeasures or was not paying attention. Either way, that is a kill. The whole team was at the base, and at this point I was thinking to myself, you know what, 2v4, 2v3, I can take it, it's fine. So I started heading back to base, assuming that my teammate would, participate, or actually help. But instead, he decided to fly straight into the enemy team. I believe he traded with some Chinese dude in a J-11, but I never saw it happen. I just saw the kill feed. Anyway, I'm going to fast forward to when I am taking off again. I will be back shortly. Alright, back up. Teammate is dead, and there is a tornado out there and an F-16 on my RWR. So I have a 1v1 and a crying baby to throw a nuke at. But first I need to defeat this F-16. He's locking me straight off the runway, and I know this is Mr. Quandale Dingle, so he has sparrows. I fought him earlier and saw that it was an ADF, so I know that there's a sparrow already on the way here. And there it is. Yeah. I needed to lock him just to know where he was so I could try and at least set up this fight in sort of a smart way. This sparrow was a little scary, so I tried to stay as close to the ground. I prefer to shave my ass hair with the grass, thank you. And now that he's closing the distance, this fight becomes a lot more doable for me. I just need to make sure that I'm actually smart about how I approach this. The last fight I had with him, I was way too fast, so I decided to not go over Mach here and just make sure that I am actually using my energy that I have over him to my advantage. I'll take it into the vertical. He's going to realize here pretty quickly that he is going to lose this fight. He is just holding too much speed, and by the time he's slow enough to make a good turn, I'm already literally on top of him. This position is really, really good, and I was so close to having a shot here. He just barely dodges my nose, stays above it. But he's practically floating in the air there, and I'm still doing 320 kilometers an hour. That is enough to pull up and enough to fall right on top of him. And thankfully, he's a really nice guy. He decided to show me his asshole. It's a big asshole right in the rear of his plane, and it just lined up for me perfectly here. Easiest shot. Thankfully, I didn't miss this one. He went for it here, though. This scared the shit out of me. Not seen is the brick I just shit. Now it's just me against the tornado. And I have tons of cannon ammo, as well as, I believe, yeah, all 6 AIM-9Ls. He couldn't really do anything about this. Now, this tornado is going to come in with a missile. He's thinking that I will actually, not flare. But I have more than 2 brain cells to rub together, so I decided to use them. 2 flares, and it's done. And he did the smart thing here and held his speed. Now, there really wasn't anything he could do anyway. I know that he doesn't have many flares. So I'm just going to slowly launch my missiles. And by slowly, I mean launch them all at once. You can't dodge all of them, right? He eventually ran out of flares, and he lost. Enjoy the water. I hope you like baths. And that's the game. You should try the F-16A. This thing goes unbelievably hard. Tell me what you think. Like and comment. If you subscribe, I'm going to try and put out some more videos like this. I love making montages like the one that led this video. If you want to give it a chance, hit that bell icon, and I will be back next time. Bye.